How sick is that one?
Yeah.
All right, you good?
I'm good.
Okay, we have to start with, I think, probably the most controversial topic right out of the gate.
Controversial.
Don't
Like,
look at them. Stay right here.
society-wise, or
With
basketball?
you.
Oh, okay,
With
okay.
you.
Yeah. This isn't a good
Okay.
topic.
Why does your last name have one L,
Mm,
but Gilly has two? It's throwing me off.
okay. I didn't come up with Gilly, so I couldn't really tell you, but I think there was like a Bud Light commercial, I think my freshman year, and it was like Dilly Dilly. And
Oh,
it's
you know, we talked about that with Dylan
D-I-L-L-Y.
Brooks before, because they tried to call him Dilly Dilly.
I don't like the Gilly anymore.
Oh, no.
Okay. But yeah, it was like Dilly Dilly, and I think it was like a, what is it, like a knight? It was like a person, like a shining armor or whatever in like the commercial. And like somebody put my face on top of his and then changed the D for the G, and it was Gilly Gilly. And then on Instagram, I think like I couldn't use two L's and one Y, so.
On Twitter, it's still two L's.
Oh, yeah, I got to use that. It wasn't like used.
Oi, oi, oi. What do you prefer? Because we're going back and forth here.
Two L's kind of doesn't make sense, huh? Because my last name only has one.
But you tweeted at someone to say, no, you're right, it is two L's.
Yeah, let's go with two L's.
Okay.
That's whoever started used two L's, so let's just keep it that way.
Does everyone hear that? It's official. Two L's and Gilly. Okay. Now we can begin.
All right. That was controversial?
Yeah.
Good to know that people are talking about me.
People are talking. I actually didn't realize that, like, you're royalty,
Huh?
essentially. Because people talk about the NCAA assist leader a lot, right? Like, that's talked about a lot.
Yeah.
But when I was creeping your Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
two L's on Twitter,
Right.
you retweeted something that also said that you were the minutes leader as well.
Yeah.
So you've played more college basketball than anyone in the history of college basketball,
Precisely, yeah.
ever.
Pretty cool feat, huh?
How does that, like, what?
It's almost like nobody knows more about college basketball than me. That's how I look at it.
Oh my God.
Some would say.
What do you know?
Not a lot, but some would say. Not me. I wouldn't say that.
You don't think that's crazy, though?
No, I do. Obviously, like, the COVID year kind of changed everything, but, like, to think about, like, when I first, like, saw it, I was like, oh, that's actually, like, nobody's played more basketball in college than me, which is insane to think about.
The COVID year is something, but many people had the COVID year, right?
Yeah.
And that just means that you would have had to start rookie year or freshman year and play 40 minutes a game for 5 years.
Yeah, it was like 37. I remember thinking I wasn't gonna play at all, and then it was like 37 or something crazy. But yeah, it was a lot of minutes, a lot of miles on this body, you know.
Is it difficult to go from all those minutes, literally all those minutes, to, or did it prepare you? That's maybe better, because now it's 82 games a year. Even more sometimes, because you'll go back and forth between the Hustle and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I would say it didn't prepare me, except for like in the game last year, the end of the game, or the last game last year when I got called up. I played like 41 or 42, and I was like, oh, this feels like college. This feels like college. You know what I mean?
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it's just different. Like in college, you got to feel the game out because I knew I was pretty much playing the whole game. And now, if I'm to get in, you kind of have to make something happen in the short amount of time you're in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Jokes aside, though, the assist record is pretty iconic because steals. The steals
Okay.
record is iconic because you blew it out of the water. Like it
Yeah.
stood for since 2022. It's up by 81.
I don't think it'll ever get touched.
Why?
I had a lot of steals. It was just like pretty much from day one. I hope somebody breaks it. Like that's like.
You're a liar.
I really do. Like I think as like the older you get, the more you want to see the younger generation succeed and stuff like that.
You and I are so different. I hold a record just at my college, just my college. And if anyone breaks it,
You'd be
I'm
mad?
getting another year of eligibility somehow.
You're gonna go back and get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we're way different then. I feel like, you know, like they're meant to be broken. I don't think it ever will, but I hope it does someday.
What?
Maybe in a couple years. Like let me enjoy it for a little while. You know.
Soak it in for a bit. If it's another like 20 years or something.
That's doable.
What made you good at steals? Is it quickness? Is it timing?
I used to get asked this a lot.
Then you should have an answer.
It's just a lot of different answers. Like, yeah, I think I'm quick. I think I have good anticipation. I'm pretty short, so like the ball is closer to the ground. I should be able to get it before somebody else. You know what I mean? But I think like the biggest thing was just like watching a lot of film, just kind of like understanding where guys want to pass the ball or when they want to pass it, who they want to get the ball to, and then just kind of having good anticipation.
So really good in high school then, really good in college, then you come into your first year in the G League, and not only do you break the hustle record, like single season record for steals, but you also led the entire league in assists and assists per game. Did you think that you were going to have that much success?
No. Thought I'd be solid, and I always knew I could pass pretty well. I didn't think I would average, what was it, 9.7 or 10? I didn't think I'd average that many. And I also didn't think we'd be as good as we were. We were really, really good in the regular season. But I mean, I had good teammates. Guys made shots for me. You know, getting assists is a two-way street. You know what I mean? So.
At what point in the year do you settle in to your first year up in a pro league and you're like, oh wow, like I'm actually doing really well. Like I belong here.
I think for me, I was so caught up in trying to figure out how to get into the NBA. I didn't really get a chance to feel like I get a chance to like really look back and be like, you know, you're playing pretty well. Because you always want to do better. You always want to figure out how you can, like even now, like you want to figure out how you can get in rotation, stay in rotation, stuff like that. But I remember at the end of the year, it was like a week and a half break before I got called up. And after the G League season, I talked to my agent. He was just like, you know, as far as how you played, like you couldn't really have done more as a point guard.
Okay, so then let's talk about getting onto an NBA roster then, because you're with the Grizzlies for training camp and then waived and then signed to the Hustle. And I watched an interview with you where you said that was the first time you've ever been cut from a team. How do you go about that mentally?
It's crazy because like I knew it was gonna happen. Like in signing the contract, you kind of understood what was gonna happen. And it was really my dad's fault. He was like, you've never been cut before. Like, how do you feel? And I was like, well, I didn't really feel the way about it until now. And I think it's just like more so you just like look at the bigger picture. Like there's a lot of really good basketball players out there.
Best of the best.
The best of the best. So for me, it wasn't too hard initially, but then once he said that, I was like, what a dad he is. You know what I mean?
So then you sit in that thought for however long until you're ready to get going with the Hustle after your dad so kindly reminded you. Did you feel like you had something to prove?
Definitely. I think it was like the first time I was in a new environment, and I was at Richmond for 5 years. Part of the reason I didn't transfer is because like I didn't want to have to go somewhere else and prove myself to a different coach and teammates and stuff like that. Everybody there kind of believed in me. And then coming here, you had to prove it again. So when we got geared up with the Hustle, like I had a big chip on my shoulder, not only for there, but for the rest of the NBA and the G League.
How did your role change from leading a college team for 5 years, probably leading a high school team for 4 years, most likely. I don't know, I didn't look up your college stuff, but
okay.
Leading a college team for 5 years and then leading a G League team to now this year trying to find a role within an NBA team?
It's pretty difficult. Not in the sense of finding a role. Like I think when you kind of know what you do well, that's your role. You know what I mean? Finding out how you can help the team win games and go about it that way. But for me, like we talked about, like the minutes, you know what I mean? Like last year in the G League, like even when we would have assignments down, I knew I was gonna play a pretty good amount of minutes. And now it's kind of like, oh, are you gonna get in? What are you gonna do when you get in? How much are you gonna play? So you just don't really have a chance to feel the game out. You know, you have to go in and have an impact right away, and it's pretty difficult.
How do you stay ready?
I talk to John Conchar a lot on the bench, and he's always like preaching stay ready, and it helps me out a little bit.
This is actually interesting that you bring John Conchar up because, again, I watched a couple of your older interviews, and you had mentioned that in that first year you didn't talk to a lot of the Grizzlies guys who weren't like with the Hustle, except for a little bit at training camp.
Yeah.
And now you're with the team a whole lot, and you're playing behind a former MVP, Marcus Martin, a point guard who won Defensive Player of the Year. Like they're also different in how they play. And then there's John Conchar. All the guys, right? Like you're around more Grizzlies guys. How were you able to soak it all in? Like who's your biggest, hey, if I have a question, or hey, I missed something that Coach Jenkins said, like who do you go to?
Probably Dez. I think when I did talk to guys last year during training camp, I probably talked to Dez most. He's been around for a little while. He knows a little bit, and I think he kind of took me in as like a sort of vet, so to say. So if I have any questions or anything like that, I usually go to him. He's really supportive and just kind of make sure I'm always ready, as well as John.
What does Dez's leadership look like? Like, as outsiders looking in, we see videos of him,
Yeah.
leading hustles, telling everyone to work hard, but like, as someone who's now teammates with him and sees him every day, like, what does that leadership actually look like?
I think it's pretty intense. He doesn't talk like just for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of guys kind of just like talk to talk. Dez isn't really that way, but when he does talk, I think it kind of gathers the attention of everybody. And then you just kind of see him, like when he's fired up, the whole bench is fired up. You know what I mean? He sort of has this intense way about going about how he leads.
So if he doesn't just talk to talk, does that mean what he says, like, you have to listen to it because he's not just...
You don't have to listen to it. I don't really listen to him ever. But yeah, like what he says is kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, he's holding you accountable for a reason. That's what he saw. He's not going to tell you otherwise, you know what I mean? So it's like, if he sees something, he's going to call you out on it.
That point guard spot
Right.
is a little bit thinner for the first 25 games.
For sure.
That will change after 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see your role changing?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's like the easiest answer, yes. I imagine I'll play in significantly less games than I could play in the first 25. But my role on the court changes, yeah. But like my role as a Grizzly or a teammate doesn't really change. It's to have a positive impact on the team. If I'm not playing, be as supportive as I can. If I am playing, have an impact on winning games. But when 12 comes back, I'd imagine I'll play less and I'll be the biggest cheerleader on the side.
How do you show support?
I like to think I'm pretty energetic on the bench. I'm not like one of those crazy people who does all the celebrations, but I like to think.
Yeah, you're not Thanasis.
Yeah, I'm not like one of those college walk-ons going crazy, doing the dances and stuff like that. But I like to think I'm pretty supportive, chime in when I can, and then go about it that way.
I heard a fun story about you.
Uh-oh.
No, stop.
This can't be good.
You keep thinking I'm trying to trap you.
Who did you hear it from?
You.
Oh,
I watched
it was
your
a great story.
interviews.
Oh, it's a great story then.
About your college coach.
Ah.
And it just, obviously, like, Jaws' story coming from high school to college is so publicized about
Yeah.
how he was in the Ox gym and he just happened to go get a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
But the story that you told had such a similarity about your college
Right.
coach, just like seeing you out of the corner of your eye, watching a different game.
Yeah.
He didn't go get a bag of chips,
Nah.
but no pun intended. You said that put a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys on our team have that same type of chip, whether
Right.
it's Ja because of the under recruitment, or Dez again because of the under recruitment. There's a lot of guys who are drafted low who are trying to prove themselves high. Do you feel like you've bonded in any type of way with your teammates that way?
Yes, I think naturally, like, the Grizzlies have a chip on their shoulder.
Why?
I think we're all fairly young. Everybody kind of has something to prove, and we're all trying to prove it together as a team. So I think in that sense, it's easy to come together and sort of share that chip on the shoulder. But like, as far as like telling stories and stuff like that, going back to college days and having chip on shoulders, I don't think we do that too much. But everybody's just like really competitive in everything we do, and I think that probably stems from however we grew up.
Who do you think's the most competitive? For like little things, you know what I mean? Like, I have friends who are like, I'll be, I don't know, cooking bread and like,
Yeah.
I cooked it faster. I'm like,
Right.
okay.
Probably Roddy. I think Roddy's.
Boy grew up with 5 brothers. I would be competitive
Yeah,
too.
like, I think Roddy wants to win in everything that we do. And that's just kind of who he is.
Why do you wear number 0?
I was 0 in college.
No, the fake story.
The fake story? 0 people believed in me. Yeah, that's the good one. No, I wanted to be, I was always 14 growing up. My dad was 14 in college.
But Danny Green is no longer here.
I could have changed
Roddy
this year.
changed?
Yeah, he changed really fast too, huh? He didn't even wait for Tyus to get to DC. He just said, I'm 21 now. Yeah, I got to college in 14, was retired. So it was like 0 or 4, and I was like, 4's kind of ugly. Who wears 4? Steve-O? Yeah, 4 is kind of ugly.
My point guard in college was 4.
Kind of ugly.
Damn. So you have no, like, you're attached to 0 now. You have no want to change to 14.
No, yeah, I think like 0 is kind of who I am now, and I'm sticking with it.
0 is who I am now.
Oh,
Put that on a poster.
Quote.
Last but not least, tell me about your family.
Really close. I think we all gather around my little brother, and he kind of means the world to all of us. I have an older brother, older sister, and a younger brother. And then my mom and dad, everybody lives together and stuff like that. But sister lives in Miami, brother lives in Houston. They're really supportive. They text me every game. It's game day, and I'm like, I know. But yeah, we're a big, all the holidays are celebrated together, big family person.
Here?
They will be here this Thanksgiving. Yeah, my mom's gonna get an Airbnb somewhere. Actually, scratch that. I'm gonna get an Airbnb somewhere, make me look better. And then we'll do Thanksgiving here. Christmas, I'm sure my mom's already got something cooked up already, so we'll see.
Here? No, you guys will be away.
I'm sure they'll find a way to make it there.
Whoop. Okay, I have one last question for you.
Okay, so it wasn't last but least, gotcha. You said last but not least on the last one, but it's okay. We're rolling.
Would you like to host the podcast?
I think next episode I should host. That'd be something, huh? That's cool.
What question would you ask me?
If you had to make up a handshake, what would it be?
Okay, so I do this thing where I go front, back, side, side, and then I loop my finger out and snap.
I've seen that one before somewhere.
Right off the
dome.
Okay. Yep, I think we should end it now.
Good.
Done.